It is a nice hotel, and if you look at where the other family were being housed in Beeston, and you compare it to this four-star hotel, nice food, as our friend says. Healthy food. Yeah, hello, bro. Hi. How you doing?
Hey, do you want to come back in?
Yeah, we're off now, mate. We're done now.
That's nice.
Yeah. Do you know what they have in here? They have a full-time doctor and nurses, full-time stationed in here. Full-time. So you know when you can't, my dad tried to get a doctor's appointment earlier. Couldn't get one. Full-time. Full-time. The food's bad? Yeah. The food's bad? Yeah. Is it free? Yes. Yeah, it's free.
They closed our school. As soon as the media and all that died, they sent in chief inspectors of fucking Ofsted. We knew they're going to fail it on every fucking thing they can think of.
I had governors who had friends in the media, who tried to explain to them.
There's a lot more to this.
All of that, and the Ofsted, and the whole shebang, but it was never picked up.
Apart from my reporting, there was not a single media statement giving the other side of this story. The staff knew, other pupils knew. They could have exposed the lie. Why didn't they?
The incident, I always call it the incident.
Yeah.
The incident has reoccurred, it's come to my door. They said you can't talk about it because you've got a non-disclosure agreement. They're not satisfactory. So that was the reason they triggered it.
They were either not free to tell you the truth, or they were terrified of the consequences. And that's for so-called journalists. Some can't find the truth. Some won't tell the truth. And some, they're afraid of the truth. But me, as a journalist, it's my job to present you the truth.
If you want my honest opinion, they said, get up there, I don't know who they is, get up there and shut that school. Get up there and get rid of this.
You see, when the media and politicians decide to kill a story, when they decide to hide the truth from you, they'll do whatever it takes. They shut down the school. It's gone. Everyone lost their jobs. You see, once this lie about a racist attack had gone global, the truth could never be allowed to come out. The real truth, that a young Syrian refugee was struggling to fit into his new environment, was problematic. His allegedly abusive and violent conduct towards teachers and children was allowed to run unchecked. Why? Did the school authorities turn a blind eye rather than be accused of victimising the boy, of being racist towards him? They stayed silent. The truth may have triggered accusations of racism or sparked discussion about immigration policies, the challenges of achieving the successful integration of migrants we welcome into the United Kingdom, and the need to take those challenges seriously. You see, Jamal was one of 20,000 Syrian refugees who come to the UK as part of the United Nations resettlement programme. The government could not allow their policies to be examined and the consequences and their incompetence to be exposed. And if you don't think the government is incompetent, you ain't been paying attention to anything. Priti Patel's been talking tough, really tough, on controlling our borders for years. And yet we have boatloads of illegal economic migrants being escorted across the English Channel and put into these luxury accommodation at your expense. This ineptitude does nothing for the refugees who come here legally, who we welcome into England, refugees who are trying to integrate and make a new life here. And who was the community's rage directed at? All Syrian refugees. That's who. When in fact, there are many families of Syrian refugees in the area. We're told, all of them delightful, working hard to settle and integrate into the country they can now call home. I spoke to multiple refugee families.
In the school problem, my children, no any problem.
No problems with your children? No, that's it. So you've had a good experience in the school?
Yeah. I used to have two friends and they don't bully and they don't care where from country I come or anything.
Okay.
And when I talk English, like we was about 1 month we've been in here and I used to not to speak English very much. So they used to tell me how to speak all that thing, and now I'm in year 8 and I know how to speak English and I made more friends. Okay. And now like I'm fine.
And you're fine? Yeah. And then no problems?
Yeah.
I don't feel safe at school. Sometimes I say to my dad, I don't want to go to school anymore.
I was just crying, and I didn't do nothing because I respect the school rules.
Who told Jamal to go on camera and say this? Who arranged the media tour? Who encouraged him to take legal action? He was originally going to sue the school for not looking after him, and then decided to sue me instead. Who told him to put this in his statement to the High Court? You see, Jamal doesn't like to break the school rules. Here's the problem. This is his behaviour record. Almost 100 codes for bad behaviour. Truancy, verbal abuse to teachers, physical violence towards pupils, and lying. Yeah, there's plenty for lying. You see, I haven't got all of Jamal's school records. Large sections of documents I was given were blacked out. We tried to get access, but we weren't allowed. And the lawyers wrote to the court to explain they had misplaced documentation. And finally, as you can hear, the lawyers decided what they were going to allow me to see. Whilst I was preparing my defence, Jamal's lawyers decided what I could see. And this global news story wasn't an accident. It was all carefully planned. You see, the day before the video went viral, a GoFundMe page was set up for Jamal. And the video went viral the day after a criminal record check come back on Jamal. Why would his lawyers do a criminal record check? Well, they had to make sure this was financially beneficial exercise, wasn't going to be derailed by an unhelpful past. 15-year-old Jamal, his record was clean, by the way. Mohammed Akunji, the jihadist lawyer of choice, was immediately on a global media blitz.
Listen, about Akunji himself, I'm after him for my own reason.
Right, okay. Nothing sinister though, is it?
Oh, fuck, no, journalistic.
Oh, journalistic, that's good.
Oh, no, fucking totally journalistic. I want to get all the background on him. You reckon he was a member of that?
Yeah.
Al-Midra Haroon are a prescribed terrorist organisation. Almost 60% of terrorists in British prisons are ex-members of this organisation. They kill, they murder, they slaughter. That is the organisation that Mohammed Akunji and his brother were allegedly, according to this top mainstream Muslim British journalist, they were members of it. How does a Syrian lad find himself working with a jihadist lawyer of choice before this video even went out? Before anyone had seen this viral video? Within 2 weeks, the lawyers had been made the beneficiaries of the GoFundMe page of £160,000. A plan to sue the school, that was put on hold, and the plan to sue moi for libel was launched. What riches had these lawyers promised Jamal and his family? School records were edited. Migration Yorkshire clamoured to make this playground fight about race and hate. They contacted the Home Office as soon as they heard about this playground fight. Yeah, the Home Office, a playground scuffle. Why are they contacting the Home Office instantly? Someone went further. You see, we had this school incident report analysed by a graphologist, someone who analyses handwriting. It appears to show that a second person with very different handwriting doctored the report to allege that Bailey had threatened to stab Jamal. Even though all the witness reports mentioned there was only one teacher there, so only one teacher could have done an incident report. So, with the careful planning of the jihadist's favourite lawyer and the enthusiastic support of some useful idiots, it was possible for the lies to go round the world twice before the truth had had a chance to put its pants on. I now need to mention other repercussions of what happened in Almonbury. I was being sued for reporting the things that were said to me about Jamal. I had to defend myself. The judge had already ruled that I was not allowed to argue it was in the public's interest for people to hear a different perspective of Jamal. I had to prove that the information reported to me was true. That's not the kind of burden placed on Piers Morgan or Jeremy Vine. Piers can describe Bailey as vermin without being held to account. And who is behind propagating this deception and the lawsuit against me? You see, this is where we get to meet the most sinister part of the unholy alliance. All sorts of people are helping out, but leading the posse from the front is the jihadist lawyer of choice. He represented Shamina Begum. You know, the jihadi terrorist that's out in Syria? He represented, I think, Michael Adebolajo, Lee Rigby's killer. I think he's even had to change his name because he's got such a terrible track record. So this is the lawyer who's suing me, and who the media celebrated that he had served me papers, even though I wasn't in the country. If you've pillaged, if you've plundered, if you've raped and you've beheaded, and you say you've done it in the name of Islam, Well, these are the lawyers for you. The lawyers who stepped forward for ISIS-Bide Shamina Begum, who've been fighting to get her back into our country, who defended Michael Adebolajo, who beheaded Lee Rigby. This is Mohammed Akunji. And his colleague, Farouk Bajwa, who's been banned from claiming legal aid. Yeah, banned from claiming legal aid for putting in fraudulent expense claims. Let me rewind a bit. Let's go back a few weeks. There's an important piece of background information to this.
Don't know the full ins and outs of it, but basically to inform that a group call themselves Antifa UK.
Yeah.
Heard of them?
Yeah.
To be honest, I kind of haven't. And Antifa Dundee, it basically says they're planning to hurt or possibly kill Tommy Robinson because they know where he lives and want to silence him. They've got their hands on, it says they've got hands on some AK-47s, make petrol bombs and stuff. And allegedly say they're going to put these petrol bombs through your door when he sleeps. They say they're also planning to attack a few MPs.
Now, at the heightened tensions with multiple Osman warnings, they now take back the radar phone, the one option we have to go direct to the police, and they are removing it at this current moment.
Where are you from? I'm from the counter-terrorism policing unit that Carla works with. Okay. So Carla and I work very closely together.
So what did you just say? Basically, the radar phone or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The phone, the emergency phone.
We'll be taking that back.
You'll be taking that back.
Yeah, those phones are designed for a. No,
are you for real? Like so when there's a heightened threat and people have come to the house and the address has been put out where my kids are, you're then going to take the panic phone back.
It's Christmas 2018. The police come to my family's home to tell me that people in Antifa, far left violent extremist organisation, are planning to kill me and my family. See, who were the first to comment on this video? Well, Mohammed Akunji of Farouk Bajwa & Co. Of course, the jihadis' lawyers of choice, but also Mike Stutchbury, an independent journalist, an Antifa activist. So the jihadist lawyers knew Antifa were planning to kill me, then actually commented on the video of the Osman warning. You see, what happened next is interesting, although not interesting to the Solicitors Regulation Authority or the Law Society, the people who should be interested in the integrity of our lawyers.
It will be live streamed. I'm not in charge of the filming or anything like that. That's down to the guys over here. And yeah, literally nobody wanted to do this, so we thought, what mug can we find who would agree to this?
So two lawyers who know Antifa are planning to kill me seek out an Antifa extremist, hire him for one day, just one day, and send him to live stream the serving of papers to my home, my family's home. Papers which had already been served, by the way, with a gang. When my wife and children were there, when they knew I was abroad, lawyers commissioned the Antifa extremist to broadcast my home address in order, as they put it, to cause a spectacle.
The law firm or the lawyer who's been, sort of taking the lead on the Tommy case wanted to make sure, doubly sure, that Tommy got the letter. Actually went out two different ways, and he wanted to make a bit of a spectacle out of it. And this is all very amusing.
A group supported by Mike Stutchbury came to the home that my wife and children were in on a Sunday afternoon when I wasn't even in the country. So let's have a look at Mike Stutchbury, who calls himself a journalist, who promoted this event, who shared it and encouraged it, who found it amusing that my wife was so scared she had to ring the police. My wife has been sat down and told in her home that Antifa are planning to kill her. They're planning to kill our family and harm our family. She's been told that she may get acid in her face. Well, how do you think she felt on a Sunday afternoon whilst my children are playing outside on their bikes? To be told that Antifa were on their way to our home. Let's have a look at Mike Stutchbury, the man that sent them. Here he is self-admitting that he is part of Antifa. Here he is promoting violence against his opposition. Punch them, punch them, punch them. Here he is hoping that buses full of Antifa get shipped in to smash people's skulls in. Here he is calling for white genocide. Mike Stutchbury is an extremist. He's a far left extremist who currently is playing a victim. He encouraged people to come, and he sent people and was part of an organisation that communicated together to send people to the home where my wife and children were when I wasn't there. He even crowdfunded to support them in their action.
He was looking at various people, and eventually he sort of came on to Dick Coughlin, I can't say it properly, who is a YouTuber who has made videos about Tommy for, God, almost 10 years, I think, who's a real critic. I don't know if you've checked him out, but he's a funny guy.
Check it out.
Yeah, he's sort of, got red hair. He calls, he's an ex-crackhead, basically.
And who is this Antifa extremist hired to come to my kids' home? Keep watching.
Okay, folks, we're here in So. Me and Murphy are about to pop on. I went up to where number and they said, right, we'll take that from him, we'll make sure he gets it.
And later that night, the Antifa extremists hired by their lawyers had a message for me and my children.
And on that note, on that happy note, oh, by the way, Tommy, I am going to mince your kids, mate.
Let's have a look at the man that they sent. The man that you can see the Muslim lawyer handing privileged documentation, giving this man my children's home address. That's what he done, fully aware of the serious danger my family are in. And he hands them my children's address. They then come to my children's home. My wife gets a phone call. My children run off the drive. They lock themselves in the house. They ring the emergency 999 call for the police to come. They press panic buttons. They need support because Antifa are coming. They came. They told the Muslim lawyer. He's fully aware they're coming to live stream where my family are. They live stream and dox the name of the road. They doxed the door number.
I went up to where number and they said, right, we'll take that from him, we'll make sure he gets it.
The man specifically chosen, he was chosen. He says in his own video.
The lawyer in this case was a guy called Mohammed Sanimi Akunjwa, who works for a solicitors in London called, I shit you not, Farouk Bajwa and Co. Solicitors of London. I get asked by this guy that they've decided that Tommy Robinson is going to be served legal papers so he can be sued by this family. And they asked me, do I want to be the one to go along to serve the legal documents?
Let's have a look at who Dick Coughlin is. Let's look at some of the things he said. Here he is promoting hatred against black people. Serious, this is a crime. The comments he makes are a crime. Here he is promoting hatred against Pakistanis. Here he is singing a song promoting anti-Semitism. Singing a song about lampshades being made out of Jewish people's skin from the Holocaust.
Third right, you're a good killer kite. We're white, far right, and we're gonna have a fight. You in the outskirts, you can go in the gas chamber, then we'll throw you in the pit. We're just following orders, man. We're trying to get paid. You might get out of here, but you'll be a lampshade.
A self-confessed, racist, anti-Semitic crackhead was sent to my children's property. He talked about raping my wife in her skull socket. He talked about my children being fed through a meat grinder. He talked about burning my house down whilst masturbating with my family in it. Now, other than to terrorise my wife and children, why would any sane person do this? It worked, okay? Tipped off by a friend who saw the gang on live stream approaching, my ex-wife hit the panic button and barricaded herself and our children in a bedroom. The police thankfully responded in time. And these are exactly the same tactics being used against the unbelievably courageous children in Almonbury. Threats of violence and rape against children who are willing to stand with me in defence of the truth at the High Court of London. The video release, media, GoFundMe, Antifa, it all happened at the same time. It was coordinated and it was about hate and making money. And how that far left activist, who appears to be an anti-Semitic, Jew-hating, black-hating racist, came to my home with his gang and threatened to kill my children. These lawyers, the mainstream media, they don't care about refugees. They don't care about Jamal. They don't care about the truth.
Say that bloke who made the video saying he's going to kill the kids. Can you, if you didn't do it, I know 100%.